Lee wants to know if you like him.
Flynn's brother.
Netflix apparently runs in the family, at least for these stars. Landing a job on a hit series or movie is a major deal for the average person, but for some star-studded families, it's basically a yearly occurrence. You'll never guess who's related from shows like Bridgerton and Ginny and Georgia.
One of your brothers played Thor.
He was Thor, yes.
Bessie Carter had made her big Netflix original debut as Prudence Featherington in one of the platform's biggest hits, Bridgerton. We all love to hate Prudence, but you can't deny her polished acting skills. When you find out who her mom is, you'll know why acting seems to come so easily to her. Her mom is Imelda Staunton, also known as Queen Elizabeth on Netflix's other hit series, The Crown. Anyone else as shook as us to find out that Professor Umbridge had a daughter all these years? But Imelda is nothing like her on-screen characters, and has said that she's fortunate her daughter was born into the business instead of being thrown blindly into the theater and industry like she was. Nothing but support from these two stars.
I like it when it's just downstairs and upstairs and it's all the family and the staff who are there.
If you weren't obsessed with Joey King and The Kissing Booth, do you even watch Netflix? All jokes aside, Joey King made major waves on the streaming platform with her teen rom-com magic. But there's another actress in the King family who's also made her first Netflix splash. Her sister, Hunter King, has worked in series like Life in Pieces, but recently appeared on the Netflix series Nailed It alongside Joey. Bet you can't name a more iconic sister duo.
We didn't take a long time to film scenes, if you couldn't tell. We're very professional.
Yeah.
We can all admit Katherine Langford made us cry multiple times with her performance as Hannah Baker in 13 Reasons Why, and then not long after showed us how iconic she could be in her Netflix original Cursed. Well, if you've run out of Katherine content, you can always venture to her Netflix star sister, Josephine Langford. Josephine got a pretty big break starring in the YA franchise after, but she became a Netflix star when she took on the role of Emma in their movie Moxie. Look at them, they're basically identical.
I don't want to sound arrogant, but I feel like we both know what we're doing, so we don't really call each other up and be like...
Phoebe Dynevor wasn't a familiar face to us when she made her appearance as Daphne on Netflix Bridgerton, but while she was new to Netflix, she was in no way new to the world of television. That's because her mom, Sally Dynevor, has spent over 30 years working in the industry as Sally Webster on the UK series Coronation Street. She may not be on a Netflix original, but that's pretty impressive. Sally is nothing but proud of her daughter. They even watched Bridgerton as a family, except for the more intimate scenes.
But they've grown up with it, so it's kind of part of their life.
Ginny and Georgia is all about the importance of family, and no one gets that better than the actors who play Joey and Padma on the series. Their names are Raymond and Rebecca Ablack, and they're brother and sister. We couldn't believe it either. The two never really have any on-screen time together, and maybe that's why we never realized how alike they look. Did you catch the resemblance between the two characters? If you caught Netflix movie The Dig, you would have seen Ralph Fiennes, also known as Lord Voldemort himself, in action as Basil Brown. However, Ralph isn't the only one who's made it big in his family. He isn't related to any Netflix original stars, but his nephew, Hero Fiennes Tiffin, is one of the stars in the After franchise. Yup, Hardin Scott is related to Voldemort. Ralph also has a brother, Joseph, who plays Fred Waterford in The Handmaid's Tale.
A long time ago, he played for the BBC Lawrence of Arabia, and I played his brother way back in the background.
Robin was probably one of the greatest additions to the Stranger Things cast, and a lot of it has to do with how cool her actress Maya Hawke is. Being cool apparently runs in her family, because both her parents are in Hollywood, Ethan Hawke and Uma Thurman. Not only that, but just like her daughter, Uma Thurman is a Netflix star. You can watch her in the series Chambers as Nancy. Ethan Hawke has said he loves getting to watch Maya do her thing and express. We couldn't agree more.
It all just kind of fell into place, and they were glad to have her, and I was glad to have her, and she was happy to be there.
Dudley Dursley has come a long way from his days on Privet Drive and tormenting his cousin. His actor, Harry Melling, worked as Harry Beltic in the game-changing series The Queen's Gambit. Ironically, Harry has a cousin, Sam Troughton, who shares the same Netflix fame as him. Sam stars in 2 Netflix originals, The Ritual as Dom and Mank as John. They must have some pretty epic family reunions.
What does it matter to them?
You may know Amy Poehler best from her years on Parks and Recreation, but Netflix has scooped her up for originals like Moxie and Wine Country. But Amy apparently wasn't doing any Netflix films without her brother Greg Poelher, because he also has a role in both films. Greg played Dr. Dick Swing in Wine Country and the news anchor in Moxie. It seems like they're pretty close, especially considering they wrote a sitcom called Welcome to Sweden together.
Well, I saw my sister making TV shows over the past 30, 40 years.
Julie and the Phantoms is arguably one of the most adorable shows on Netflix, and Booboo Stewart as Willie just makes it all the better. Does anyone remember when he was just a teen playing Seth in Twilight? Well, his younger sister, Fivel Stewart, followed right in his footsteps. She landed her first Netflix gig as Izzy on Atypical and is thriving. The two are super close and even did videos together for Disney.
And there was an open house, so we danced big time at Vibe, the club for the older kids.
If you've seen House of Cards, you know just how awesome the cast of the Netflix series is, including Kate Mara, who plays Zoe Barnes in the series. But those good acting genes were also passed on to her sister, Rooney Mara, who made her Netflix debut in the movie The Discovery. Being actors have brought the sisters closer than ever. Kate said bonding over their audition experiences was
super special, that you can actually bond with a sibling over. I mean, that's very rare.
Holly Date star Emma Roberts has been in showbiz since before she even knew she wanted to be an actress. She spent her childhood roaming filming trailers and movie sets, all because her aunt is Pretty Woman star Julia Roberts. Imagine playing dress-up on a movie set like Emma did. Goals. Julia Roberts may not have a Netflix original, but you can still catch her in movies like Wonder and Stepmom.
I remember I was on Erin Brockovich, that set a lot, and you remember all her costumes in that movie.
Alexandra Daddario got her big break when she starred as Annabeth in the Percy Jackson and the Olympians films. But she became a Netflix star when she landed a role in the movie When We First Met as Avery. Her brother is Matthew Daddario. No big deal. He just starred in the huge television series Shadowhunters as Alec.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Chris Hemsworth, or Thor, God of Thunder, made an impression on Netflix with their original movie Extraction. Now, we all know he's brothers with Hunger Games star Liam Hemsworth, but people tend to forget that there's a third brother who just happens to also be a Netflix star, Luke Hemsworth. He's the oldest of the three and stars in the Netflix film Death of Me. It's not only the acting gene that's strong in the Hemsworth family, right?
We'd wake up in the morning and we'd literally say, "See you, Mum," and just disappear into the bush.
Melissa McCarthy is one of the funniest actors on Netflix. Have you seen her Netflix movie Thunder Force? Not to mention other comedies she's been in, like Identity Thief. But if it wasn't for her cousin Jenny McCarthy, Melissa wouldn't have landed her very first acting job. Jenny McCarthy is also a comedian and actress and works in movies like Scary Movie 3 and is now one of the judges on The Masked Singer. Not a Netflix star, but still pretty impressive. Thinking about how interconnected the world of Netflix is bizarre. And our heads are still spinning from finding out Professor Umbridge's daughter is an actress in Bridgerton. What relative reveal was the most surprising to you?